Hey there, you're listening to the Not So Breakfast Show with Sasha and Ish. Alright, welcome to the Not So Breakfast Show today, and this is the one about how to get what you want. What do you want? It's a really good question. Maybe even more important, why do you want it? Let's explore all of that today. We also find out Sasha has a nemesis.
I can remember wanting to have 2 children because then I would have more children than my nemesis. What a ridiculous reason to want more children.
So was it you? Are you the reason that she had multiple babies? Anyway, that's the show. Let's get it. Alright, welcome to the Not So Breakfast Show today, and this is the one about how to get what you want. What do you want, Sash?
I want it all. I want it now.
If you get what you want, or is it sometimes you don't get what you want, but you get what you need? Is that the song?
Oh, we're just doing song titles. We should. That's great. I want you to want me. That's a great song. That is
a good song. I'll leave all the singing to you. So we're talking about how to get what you want. And I guess in order to get what you want, you need to know what you want and probably why you want it as well, because that's going to be an important part, no doubt, of our discussion today.
It sure is. I reckon one of the first questions to ask yourself when you think, what do I want? Is just check in with this golden question: who taught you to want that? Because sometimes the things that we want, they're just things that external influences have told us that we ought to have and that will make us happy, and it's not necessarily true. So even as you go through your list and you go, okay, this is what I want, and I'm listening now because I'm going to find out how to get what I want, just have that little sort of sprinkle of truth that's saying, are you sure this is what you want? Or has someone else just told you you should want this? And why?
Yeah. Well, probably when it comes to things, because I suffer from a little bit of retail therapy. You know, you're just not quite feeling right, so you go and buy something that you think you want. Feel pretty good for about 5 minutes. Till the novelty wears off, right?
100%. I do this thing where I'm so stupid that I'll be in a shopping mall and I'll see something and I'll go, oh, that's just going to be perfect. And it's filling a gaping hole within me. And that might be that I'm actually hungry, or I'm feeling a bit lonely, or I'm a bit sad, or I miss my mum, or I wish I was running the UN, but I'm not, and I live in Hamilton, or whatever the thing is, that this need within me. So I buy the perfect journal, or the perfect candle, or the perfect shirt. And by the time I get home, I've forgotten that I even have it. And like a week or so later, I'll see it at the back of the car, and I'll go, what was I thinking when I bought that candle? Wow, I'm so needy. And so I'm trying to be way more conscious about, I mean, this is not about shopping, but that's a great example of going, do I really want that? Do I really need that? And why? Because I reckon we should put our energy into going after the things that we truly want, that are of true value, that will enhance our lives. Let's talk about how we get those things, not just be going, oh, I think I'll be happy if I have a new couch. A new couch is what I want. Maybe, but most likely not.
So we're talking about different classes or different categories of wants.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think sometimes when you think of want, it does automatically go to materialism, or maybe it goes to relationships.
Yes.
Well, I want to have a girlfriend, or I want to have a boyfriend, or I want a husband, or a wife, or a partner, or a significant other, or whatever it is, and we want it, but then maybe, do we really want it?
Oh, it feels like we're in like a puzzling world right now where we're going down a maze of like, what do you want? So let's look at a category of want and say, what are all the materialistic things that you want? Oh, I want a nice house and let's unpack why. The Japanese have this thing in business where they just ask 5 whys. So let's do it now, Ash. You tell me that you want a big flash house. Go.
I want a big flash house, Sasha.
Why?
Because it would be better than the house I've got now.
Why?
Because then I would feel more successful.
Why?
Well, then I feel like I've achieved something.
Why?
Because I see people who've achieved lots of things and they have big, nice houses.
Why? Yeah, right. So you start to unpack why it is that you want this thing. And if you say, well, the reason I want a bigger house is because I want to bring more people in, or there's no room, or the girls are squished, or whatever, you start to be able to problem solve and say, is actually a bigger house the answer to this, or is the problem solved in other ways? And that's classic when people go, I want a new husband, or I want a new wife, or I want a new relationship, or I want a new job because...
Or I want my kids to move out.
Yeah, because what I've got right now isn't working for me. But you can actually analyse that more deeply, and the problem might be solved not just through a series of replacements. So I kind of get judgy about people who have multiple things, because you go, maybe the problem's you and you're just going along to each of these new situations. So when you're looking at material things, just go, why do I want that, and will that material thing solve it?
Yeah.
And then we can talk about how you're going to get it.
Well, I remember when I was starting out in personal training and in business, like I just had this drive. I just wanted to earn $100,000 a year. And then when I surpassed that, you just set the bar. The bar just got set higher, but for what reason? It's that success thing. Well, I guess it came back to me. I just saw that success must be, well, you get to this income threshold and all your problems go away. But as we know, you just end up with more expensive problems.
That's exactly right. And maybe the reason that much money is useful is because it gives you time, because you can employ someone to mow your lawn, and you actually want time, not money. And there's a whole ways of cracking it. So if we go back to these categories, you've got material things. Just check with yourself, do you really want them? And if you do, we're going to help you get them.
Yeah.
What about the things that you want that are more intrinsic or that are harder to quantify? Things like I want respect, or I want love, or I want to be valued.
Happy.
I want to be happy. Again, ask yourself why. Why do you care about happiness? Happiness isn't all it's cracked up to be. So when you think about those things, again, just ask yourself why. And often it comes from deficit. We go, I want to be happy because I'm not happy now. Or I want to be respected because I'm not respected now. Or it might be, I want to be fitter than I am now. Or I want to spend more time in nature. And if you say, just do the why question, because if you understand your why, that's what's going to help you get it, because your motivational triggers come from the why, not the thing themselves.
That makes heaps of sense.
So when we start to talk about how to get what you want, the very first question, whether it's materialistic, whether it's intrinsic, or a bit more amorphous, harder to categorize, you have to understand why you want it. And be sure that that's a really good, valid and healthy reason. So when I say healthy, what I mean by that is I can remember wanting to have 2 children because then I would have more children than my nemesis.
We'll be right back.
If there was one skill that could double your income, advance your career, and increase your ability to influence, it is the skill of presenting. Whether it's on stage, in the boardroom, or at a job interview, the 30-minute presenter program will help take you to the next level. So check out our Instagram page, click the link in the bio, and get started on the 30-minute presenter program.
What a ridiculous reason to want more children.
Yeah.
I mean, that payoff lasted about a minute before I was like, what was I thinking? This is much more work.
So without naming your nemesis, no, let's not go down that rabbit hole.
Everyone out there that's got like one child is going to go, was it me? Am I the nemesis?
I had a fight with Sasha once. I've got one child. It must be me.
Portia should send that person like a Christmas card every year. Thank you for driving my competitive mother to birth me. So you want to unpack your motivations and just check that they're healthy. And usually healthy motivations will do one of 2 things. One is they'll enrich your life, or secondly, they'll also enrich the lives of people that matter to you. So some of the materialistic things that I want and that I've achieved in my life. So, for example, we have a swimming pool. Let's use that as an example. Yeah. I don't think I ever went in my head, when I was a little girl growing up, I hope I have a swimming pool, because it just felt like I don't know, not that many people I knew had swimming pools that I grew up with. But when it became a possibility for us when we were buying a house to have one either with a pool or not with a pool, a huge part of my satisfaction of having a pool does not come from my nemesis having one and mine being bigger. Ridiculous. It's not about that. It's about the joy that I'm able to share with others and my extended family, that they can come and we have amazing family times together. Now, that might just be my justification, but it feels like it was a healthy thing to aspire to, because it wasn't just like a selfish ego thing for me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. Well, the justification thing is interesting, isn't it? Because we do tend to buy emotionally but try and justify rationally.
Oh, explain that. That sounds gold.
So if you think about the retail one, you'll go out and you'll come home with a new top and you'll go, well, I need this new top. But then you rationalize it to yourself, go, well, it was on sale, so it was good that I brought the top. And it's probably at that point where you start to go, I probably didn't need the top, but it was a crime against retail for me not to get the top.
Yeah.
And that would be the same with cars and with things and with position and jobs. There'll be some sort of emotion that's driving it, and then there'll be a rational, well, this is why. But the rational may not be the actual reason until you probably unpick that real emotive reason for why you did what you did, why you got what you got, why you went after it so hard. You're just going to go for the next thing, because the car will only satisfy you for so long. The new job will only satisfy you for so long, unless that emotional reason's being met.
Yeah. My favorite one in this category is billionaires like Elon Musk, who make these really rational arguments for why they shouldn't pay tax. I'm like, what? You don't want to pay tax, and now you've come up with all these reasons to make it sound like a good idea. Why don't you just say, I don't want to pay tax, you don't want to pay tax, that's the end of it.
Do you think though, that some of those guys don't even think about their tax? They've just employed people that it's their world, and their success is wrapped up in doing that thing, and as a result they end up just flipping brand damaging the person that they work for.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing with Elon Musk is he just wants people to like him. So, whatever your view is of him, he's always explaining himself in ways that he wants it to be okay that his dad owns a diamond mine and that gave him a start. He should just go, yeah, daddy's got a mine, I've done good with what I had. Not try and go, it's okay for me not to contribute because I employ people
Yeah, that's true.
who make me more money. Okay, buddy. Okay. But yeah, we do that justification thing after the fact, right? So get real about why it is that you want something and go after the things that have healthy reasons attached. Now, if your healthy reasons are a massive exercise in justification and rationale, okay, good luck with that if you can. But still just check in. And if there's a healthy reason to go for it, good. Understanding your motivation will help the drive.
Yeah, that's good. Actually, the motivation thing as well can be confusing, because sometimes you'll think, and I've gone into this trap myself, if I just had a better computer, I would be more productive. I'd be able to write that book better and faster. It would motivate me. But it's not true, is it? Because motivated, as we've talked about time and time again, is like a shower. You can't just do it once and go, I'm done. You've got to do it all the time. So the shiny thing is only shiny till it's not. And then you're looking for the next thing.
Well, here's one of the key ways that you can get what you want. And that's what you're listening for, right? Here's the gold. One of the ways to get what you want is to force constraints. So when you force constraints, it's like forced creativity. So 48-hour film festivals work because there's a deadline. You've got 48 hours, go, bang. If you have a Secret Santa where there's a $10 limit, you get as creative as you possibly can within the constraints.
Yeah.
So it's the creativity comes from the constraint. So some of the best and most amazing houses, for example, that get designed is when you go to the architect and you say, these are the constraints of the section. It's got a tricky back wall. It's got a gradient slope that changes. We can't build this high on that boundary. And all of the constraints actually are what unlock the creativity, and you get these genius solutions that come out of it. So if there's something that you want, you've checked in with why you want it and you go, yep, that's good, I'm going after it. Create artificial scarcity or constraint for yourself, and it will help you get there. So this is the opposite of your computer thing. So if you say, if I get a new computer, I will be more productive. Instead of that, say, I'm going to get rid of this old computer I've got and have no computer for a week and see what that does to your productivity. Or you say, I was going to get rid of this computer in 6 months. I'm going to keep it for a year. And the extra money that I save goes towards my goal. Because without the constraint, it becomes harder to unlock creativity because you'll just keep doing what you've always done. And if you say, okay, so right now you don't have the thing you want.
Yeah.
So if you just keep doing what you've always been doing, it's not suddenly going to appear. So something has to change. So by putting a constraint in place, you create some opportunities to brainstorm more efficiently. So let's say you want to get a new, girlfriend. And you go, for the last 3 years, this is what I do. On a Monday night, I go to Body Pump. And then on a Tuesday, I play tennis. And on Wednesday, I go to Scrabble Club. And on Thursday, you've been doing that for 5 years. And no woman have rocked into your life.
Yeah.
You've got to change something.
It's time to be on Tinder.
So your constraint might be, I'm no longer going to go to X on a Tuesday night. And instead, I'm going to do Y. And so you force a change in the behavior by having a constraint in place. Can you think of anything that you've done like that?
I definitely haven't joined a Scrabble club.
It's a miracle you're married at all.
Yeah, exactly. Probably one of the things that I was quite good at earlier on is if I did want to get something, I didn't go, well, I need to earn more money to get it. I just was able to give up some stuff to get it. So is that the same kind of thing?
Sacrifice, constraint. I'm going to spend less over here because I'm focused towards the thing I want over in another direction.
Yeah, and the same thing can be with time, right? I want to spend some time writing this book, so I'm not going to spend some time watching Netflix.
Yeah, love it.
You can basically transfer the time into other areas as it's constrained.
How about this? You go, I want to have an amazing family holiday. Great. Good. Check in with your why. No, my why's healthy. That's a good thing that I want. How are you going to make that happen? You start looking at saying, so what are the constraints that you have and how can you work with them? What's your budget?
Yeah.
So your definition of happy doesn't have to be expensive. If you know what the why is, you go, what's my constraint? How do I make that work? I can't go to all of the places. So what are the most important places for me to visit? And by changing your thinking around that, you are much more likely to get what you want, which is the happy family holiday.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because this holiday, we had a small family holiday, but we didn't have a big one, obviously, because we can't travel and stuff at the moment. But it was interesting because actually what I wanted, and it was when someone sort of pointed it out to me, because I said, I feel so much better because I had some time off work. And they said, yeah, it's interesting. I thought I wanted a holiday, but what I actually wanted was just time away from work. And then suddenly that changes the focus of the entire time. It was 3 weeks off, but it was 3 weeks off work, of which some of it just happened to be going away.
Yes, I love that, by really unpacking what it is. So you know what you want. You've got the motivation in terms of you've got some internal drive because you know what your why is. You're thinking about putting some constraints that will help you stay focused and working towards it. Truly, if you want to get what you want, you have to be able to articulate what it is.
Nice. Yeah.
No, that was it. That was the point.
But so articulating it, meaning you can actually tell someone else what it is that you want and they understand what you want, and you want to be able to do it in the least amount of words possible, probably.
Yeah, if you want to be concise about it. But the point of being able to articulate it is to let it have some form. Give it some form. And that's where cue the like spiritual uke music, have some wind chimes. That's where things like visualization boards and mood boards are really helpful. But because a picture paints 1,000 words. So if you don't have the words to say, I want to be in a relationship where I'm respected. And for me, that means treated as an equal, involved in conversations, asked my opinion. So if you're not able to articulate all of that in summary, you might have some images of what it looks like. And it might look like, for example, a couple cooking dinner together. And for you, you go, that's me being valued because I'm not just doing all the cooking. Or it might be you at the bank, a picture of a couple at the bank, and that makes you feel like you're involved in the financial decisions. And that's what you're after because you want to be respected in that way. For example, it might be that you go, I want a new car. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think it looks a bit like this. And when you see all those images, you go, actually, I've picked white every time. And that tells you something more about what it is that you want. So whether it's a materialistic thing or whether it's something like a relationship or a feeling of respect or a feeling of being centered or grounded, be able to articulate it, but also know what it looks like. So when you see it represented visually or you hear it in a song or you watch a movie and you go, it's that. There's a movie that I love, and it's just a series of, the movie's not even important. It's just there's a woman in a house and she cooks for her family and the way that the family come together and eat. And it's not Pollyanna, it's it's leftovers but it's a big kitchen, and I can just identify with that mood. That's something I want. So you know what you want, you've checked in with your why and it's healthy, you've thought about some constraints that will help you get you've articulated it, whether it's a mood board or actually some words that you've got written down somewhere. You got to have a plan.
Yeah, you do.
Getting what you want involves having a plan. And that there's this saying it, I've been banging on about this lately, the future comes in daily doses. You've heard me say that a bit, right?
I have.
The future comes in daily doses. So if you want to get what you want, you have to do something today about it, and probably something tomorrow, and probably something the next day, because it's the discipline and consistency that will get you there way faster than any kind of rush thing that you do.
Yeah.
Because you're hot for it right now.
Yeah. And the clearer you are on what you want, then the more logical the steps will be, because at least you know what it is that you're heading towards or why you want it, as opposed to just trying some stuff and kind of going, well, that didn't work. I'm no closer. As
you put your plan together, you can also really clearly see how possible it's going to be in what time frame, and you can manage your expectation around that. So I know for people who are wanting to change their shape or they want to get fitter, the frustration is it doesn't just happen overnight. So you go for 3 walks and you're still getting puffed. You're ripped off. Oh, no, I want to be fit now. But if you've got your plan, you can be more realistic and say, my expectation is by the time I've done 10 walks, it should start to get easier. And so you manage your motivation in that way too, because you don't get demotivated or disappointed when things don't actually happen. The first time you go on a date, don't expect that that's going to be your life partner.
And I could get my Porsche next week, but I'd have to live in it.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Which isn't going to be really good for my family environment.
I reckon the hardest thing is when there's things that you want and it's not in your control to grant them to yourself. So a loving life partner is one of those examples. A job working for your absolute most favourite loved company in the world. A particular type of house in a particular place. You can't always control what it is that you want. And I think that's one of the hardest places to be in. And I think the only thing that you can require of yourself is to faithfully show up and be ready. Because when that opportunity knocks, you want to have done the work. You can't start doing the work when the opportunity knocks. And I know we've talked about this before. If you want to be, for example, like what you and me do, you want to speak on a big stage, you've got to get ready even though you don't have an opportunity. So the first time that you're asked, you can go, yes, I want this and I'm ready. Same with, if you want to be a decent life partner, do the work that you need to do on yourself so that when you do meet the right person, you don't spend your first date going, oh, I'm such a mess. You've actually developed yourself into a sense of who you're going to be, even if you're on your own. Get yourself ready so that when the opportunity arises, you can say, yep, good, here it comes. I want what I want. I'm going for it.
Have that Scrabble board ready.
Have your triple word plan.
Hey, one thing we've been thinking about lately is who is out there listening to the show. We've got listeners that are coming from all over the world that sometimes reach out, but we'd like to know, where do you live? Like, what's it like? What's it like in your town, your city, your country?
It's kind of like, where's Wally? I mean, it's hard to explain in a global context how small New Zealand is. So we're actually quite a big geographic country. We're about the same size as England, and we have almost none of the people. So if you live anywhere that's not where we live, we're excited and we want to know. Teach us, tell us about what it's like in your place. What languages do you speak? How many people live in your house? What do you eat? I mean, everyone eats McDonald's, right? That's global. And we all drink Red Bull. But other than that, we would love to hear from you. So please drop us a line, and we look forward to introducing you to our other listeners as well. So, Ish, if you ask me one thing I really want to hear from people and find out where they live. So I've checked in myself. It's a healthy intention. I've got a plan. I've constrained it. I've said, this is how you got to do it. And now I'm going for it. But it's out of my control. So I just have to put myself in the position of being ready. So I hope that our inboxes explode with people teaching us about themselves, because that's what I most want right now. What about you? What are you going for? What do you want?
What do I want right now? What I would like is for Omicron not to hit New Zealand in a massive tsunami wave of sickness. That's what I want. But that is outside of my control. So what we're doing at the moment is we're preparing for, well, when it comes. And so we're doing some personal preparation. What can I do personally to make sure that I'm in the right position to cope with it if I get it? But also, what can our business do? But if you ask me what I want, I want it to go away.
Yeah, awesome. You are Miss World Peace. Don't let the bad stuff happen. Love it.
Okay, congratulations for purchasing the 30-minute presenter program.